I want to talk about the Doctor Who mobile phone game Lost in Time, which has been out quite a while now. I think towards the beginning of the year, wasn't it? Maybe January, February, something around about there. Can't quite remember. But I've been playing it since it launched, and I have some thoughts. I want to talk about whether or not it's a manipulative game designed to just basically get people to spend money they don't have. I want to talk about whether or not the story is interesting. I want to talk about the general idea of idle games and should Doctor Who be getting involved in it. All of that. I want to talk about all of that. So strap in. Hi, I'm Phil, welcome to my channel where I like to talk about all the geeky pop culture that I like, including a lot of Doctor Who, and this is a video that I've been contemplating making for a while. I haven't planned it out, so it might be a little bit rambly, but basically I want to talk about the Lost in Time mobile game, which as I said, came out, I think, towards the beginning of the year. I can't quite remember. Now, I've been playing this game since the very beginning, and you may be thinking, well, okay, you sound a bit negative on the game. Why have you been playing it that long if you're not that infused by it? If you've got some issues with it, which I do. But it's a bit more complicated than that. Because this game, it preys on our brain's need for dopamine. And I'm very susceptible to that. Not fully susceptible, as we'll go in, but a little bit susceptible. But also, I had another big reason for carrying on playing this game up until that point, and that was the Doomsday event. At the point where I probably would have deleted this game, they announced that it would be tying in to the Doomsday multi-platform event, which I wanted to cover on the channel, and therefore I kind of felt I needed to carry on playing to get to. But we'll talk all about that in a minute. First of all, what is this game? If you're unfamiliar with it, basically, this is what is called an idle game. The basic premise of idle games is that you have buttons to press. You have resources to collect. Those resources take time to build up. So you idly wait for, why they're called idle games, for this little counter to go round until you can collect your resource. Now that may take, depending on where you are in the game, it may take a couple of seconds, it may take a couple of minutes, it may take a couple of hours for that little dial to get all the way around and you collect your resources. Now in the Doctor Who version of this, what we've got is several different areas which you unlock gradually on each level. Several different areas that are themed around Doctor Who locations. You've got unit bases, you've got Skaro, you've got what else is that? I'm running a blank now on the top of my head. But there are several, the Doctor Who locations, each one of these. And each one of them is kind of manned by two companions or two friends of the Doctor. So the basic thing is that these locations generate this energy, and you can collect that energy. And then you can spend that energy on upgrading certain things, so increasing the level of those locations so that they then generate more quickly or more amounts of that energy. So it's basically, when I first got this game, I started playing it because of course I got it. It was a free Doctor Who game. We'll get onto the money side in a minute, but it's a free to play essentially Doctor Who game, so of course I was going to get it and try it out. And the first couple of days I was like, it's really boring. All I'm doing is clicking a button, waiting, clicking the button again, waiting, clicking the button again, waiting. And that was really boring, and I could not grasp why anybody would want to play this. I did, however, eventually start to find it a bit addictive. I wanted to upgrade these things. I wanted to upgrade the characters, because you can upgrade the characters as well with a different type of energy, which you have to wait and click a different button on every 10 minutes or so to collect some of. And eventually, I kind of got a little bit into it, and I was like, okay, I can see where this is going. Yeah, it's kind of fun. And then the dopamine really kicked in. Because what this relies on is getting your brain to release that lovely bit of dopamine when you manage to upgrade or complete a level or level up a character that you've got on in a place or level up the actual place itself, and you get that little hit of dopamine, and that is where that's what this game relies on. But it's still effectively just pressing a button and waiting, pressing a button and waiting. And there didn't really seem to be much, interesting strategy involved. Or is there? As I played, I realised that the strategy in this game does exist to some degree. It's not a massively in-depth strategy. It's basically deciding what you should upgrade over other things. So, do I upgrade, which land that we've currently got unlocked do we upgrade first? Do we, increase the power of each area by a little bit each, whenever you can, or wait until you can do a whole one at once? And gradually, over a couple of months, I worked out what I thought was the best strategy for this, which, for anybody interested, was basically to only upgrade the energy on stuff, only add to the energy when it was a full bar and not just little bits of a bar, and always upgrade the one that was already going to be producing the most energy, which isn't always necessarily the top one, but sometimes is. But that's beside the point. There was a little bit of strategy to it, which got me reinvested in the game again. Again, it was kind of this kind of dull investment where I kind of felt like it was sapping my time, because it does. This game really saps your time. If you want to get into this game fully, and I know there are ways around this, because especially if you're on Android, I've heard people talk about clicker apps, which basically do the work for you. You get a third-party app that will basically interact with this software for you to do the clicking for you, and then you just have to worry about what you want to upgrade. Fine. If you want to do that, that's fine. But if you're playing it as intended, you basically have to just spend loads of time looking at your phone and clicking, and you don't want to have any downtime from that. I mean, the way you play best is if you can be on your phone all day, every day. At least, basically, the optimum way to play this game is to look at it and do something every 10 minutes, because there is a certain type of energy that refreshes every 10 minutes. But as you can imagine, that completely destroys your productivity, your life, if you're going to do it fully. There have been times where I've gone to bed, I've gone, right, I'm going to get an early night tonight, I'm going to go to bed, or I'm going to go to bed and read a book, and I got into bed and I was like, oh, I better just quickly check the game. Hour and a half later, I'm still on it. That's my evening gone. Either my early night is gone, or my reading time gone, and I need to be doing some reading. I need to finish this book. I haven't finished this book yet. I've got to finish this book for the canon catch-up, and I haven't done it because I'm too preoccupied with this blooming game. So it's a very addictive game, and the reason why they give you that addiction and do that dopamine hits whenever you get so far and upgrade stuff is to rope you in to get you to spend money. And this is where I have some issues with the brand of Doctor Who being involved with this type of game, because it is very insidious. What this game effectively does is, in the initial stages, gets you used to this dopamine hit of upgrading stuff really quite easily in the beginning part. You're doing it very quickly, it's happening all the time, you're getting these little dopamine hits, it's all good. But then it starts to really slow down, and they'll put these really frustrating roadblocks that are going to take ages. You're going to have to wait ages, you're going to have to wait an hour or 2 hours, or even maybe several days for it to build up enough energy to do the next thing. But you can pay to skip all that. You can pay to get crystals. You can earn the crystals, sure, but that'll take you a long time. But you can pay for the crystals and then exchange the crystals for other things which you need to upgrade things, or you can pay to get enough of a certain character's cards to upgrade them straight away. And these aren't cheap. These are like paying full game prices that I would expect to pay for my Nintendo Switch, for instance. Sometimes, like when you go onto a new level or an event haven't even broached on events yet, but events that like you need a particular character to level it up, to even progress anywhere. In the little corner there'll be a little button, you can press it and it'll give you a price to get as much as you need of these and as much energy as you need to do all the upgrading you need for that little bit. And sometimes those prices are $4.99, sometimes they're £10, sometimes I've seen one that's as high as £40. That should be the price of a full, decent, well-developed game on a games console. Not maybe a brand new one and a AAA one, but like, I should be able to go and buy a Nintendo Switch game for £40. To pay it just to go past one little bit of a level is a massive rip-off of one level of one mobile game. That's a rip-off. That's insane. And what they're relying on and why they put these little frustrating bits in the game where it's going to take several days to do the things you need to do is so that you go, and you start to really get that dopamine hit withdrawal and you hit that button and you pay that price because you want to get that hit and you want to move on to the next level. And I find that really insidious. Now, I've managed to avoid doing that myself. I did wonder if I might need to do it for the Doomsday stuff because I wanted to get, if it looked like I wasn't there, limited time events. You've got the main game in this, you've got the limited time events, which add an extra time pressure to the dopamine. So you've got these events, which are limited time things. You've got either a day, 2 days, or maybe up to 3 days to complete this event and get the characters and get rewarded with characters, which will then go into the main game to boost your main game. And if you don't complete it in that time, you miss out on those characters. So there's this added incentive to get and spend the money. Now, like I said, I thought I might need to do that for Doomsday events, but thankfully I managed to complete it just by saving up enough crystals beforehand and not needing to do that. So I managed to get all of the story for that without paying. But, there will be people, there will be children that hassle their parents to pay this money to complete this game, or not even to complete, just to get past that little bit they're stuck on. And sometimes it's a lot of money. And frankly, I'm not particularly happy with Doctor Who being associated with that. That's not something that I feel comfortable with. I don't know, what do you think? Do you like these type of games to start with? And what do you feel about how much they try and charge for the pay-to-win element of it? Obviously, you can, like I have, been playing it for months, never paid a single penny towards it. And I'm not saying that these games, that like the developers of this do deserve to earn some money from it, but the way they go about it and the amounts they charge, I think, is where the problem lies. If this game had been £1.99 to buy from the App Store, I would have happily paid that. I don't mind paying that. And previously, when there's been games where my general philosophy is not to do pay-to-win elements of games, but where I've played it for a good couple of months and resisted paying so far, if there's a payment that's like £2 or something, or £3, what I think is would be worth me paying the game for, I will pay that as a one-off, because, the developers, the coders, all the people that work for the company, they do deserve some money for making this. But the way they try and basically trick our brains into paying for it, I don't like that. The other element of this to talk about is the story. Is the story worth it? Is this if you're interested in Doctor Who as a narrative, is this worth it? No, not really. The sort of story elements of it are very basic cutscenes, which are kind of comic book stills, basically, with very minor animation. Characters don't move, really. You just sort of see them in you don't even see them in different poses, they're just in different positions, and there's some other elements in the screen which might move, but very basic. And, there's this ongoing story, multi-Doctor story, but I don't, it's all a bit superficial. The dialogue isn't great, and just I would not recommend this for the story, basically. I know this is a bit of a rambly rant. But this stuff has been playing on my mind for a while about this game, and I am still playing it. I'm still playing it. The dopamine hits are still working. Several times I've been like, oh, I don't need to play this anymore, especially in the last couple of weeks since the Doomsday event has finished. I've been like, I found myself still opening the app and still playing it. And I don't know why, because I'm not getting any real enjoyment out of it. I'm getting minor bits of dopamine hits in my brain, but not real enjoyment. So why am I still playing this game? So I think I've decided that I'm going to delete the game. Because however, if I just leave it on my phone, I will go back to it. And I'll be like, oh, I'll just do this. I'll just get to the next bit. I'll just get to the next bit. Oh, this bit's almost there. So I'll just spend the next several nights staying up till midnight with my phone glaring at me doing this. But I'm not going to do that now. I'm going to delete it. I would like to do that on camera. But this isn't my real phone. Well, I mean, it is a real phone. But it's an old phone. My phone that I play the game on is the one I'm recording this on. So I was going to delete it on camera in front of you all to prove that I've done it. But I can't do that unless I switch and use another camera to show me deleting it. So I'm going to do that right now. There we go, we're back on the now Lost in Time free phone. Thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts on this game. I'd love to know if you have the same issues that I do, if you think I'm overreacting to it. Maybe you think this is all perfectly fine and it's all good. Maybe you love the story in it. Let me know. I'm happy to hear dissenting voices on this as well. People that disagree with me and all that. So let me know what your thoughts on it. Let me know your thoughts on the story. Let me know your thoughts on the payments and how they go about making you think you need to do it. How far you've got in the game. Are you still playing it? And are you generally enjoying it? Or do you think you're just addicted to it like I am? Or was, because I'm now going cold turkey. Thank you for watching. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.